Welcome to Biztech's SME Show, where we feature SMEs both small and large, sharing their entrepreneurial journeys and also imparting lessons that they've learned. But today, we have a special edition of the SME Show, where we take a look at the F&B SMEs from a macro and micro perspective. While our guests are from Malaysia, most of the solutions can be applied across different markets. The key objective of today's show is really to discuss the issues in a succinct manner, share some best practices and success and recovery stories, and then open up the show to guests who can ask questions directly to our panel. In that way, we will have key takeaways from the show. Now, we will be also putting up some of the checklists and slides and also links of topics that we've discussed about on our website, as well as our Facebook and LinkedIn pages and the comment section on this video. So our guests today have both a strategic and operational perspective. We have YB Dr. Ong and Ming, former Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry and currently an MP for Bangi. Dr. Ong is a Fulbright and ASEAN scholar, has a PhD from Duke University and Masters of Economics from Cambridge, also a former BCG consultant and an academic with various institutions and think tanks. Now, Tham Lee Chung is a chairman of Ecosys, an F&B tech ecosystem that supports F&B businesses throughout their entire business lifecycle. Now, he is a serial entrepreneur in F&B. He has founded the Rhombus Connection, which had more than 30 establishments and 8 brands across Malaysia, Singapore, and Myanmar. He then founded Union Chain Holdings, and it's grown to be one of the fastest growing coffee chains in Malaysia. Now, welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian.
Now, Dr. Ong,
thanks for having us.
Yeah, Dr. Ong, could you start by just giving us a quick macro overview of how important the F&B sector is to Malaysia and how it's been impacted?
Okay, I'm going to share, my perspective as a member of parliament in terms of the F&Bs have been affected in my constituency and the surrounding areas. You have a significant effect on people who are, running burger stalls, to those who are selling satay in, their shop lots, to those hawkers in the coffee shops, and then to those, higher class sort of like dining establishments, and all the way up to the hotels and the chains, and it's been a pretty devastating effect. And myself as an MP, what I really wanted to do was to understand the situation on the ground so that I can feed back to different authorities, including in the government, the state and federal levels, and then finally be able to actually give some tips to some of these guys on how to try to survive during these challenging times.
Now, Tham, can give us an overview? You're a guy on the ground. How has the F&B sector been impacted?
Well, I can share with you from 2 perspectives because I'm also running my own cafes, chain store as well, right? Okay, so I have to agree with Dr. Ong, right? That it was very devastating. It was very gloomy. Okay, it's still very gloomy, especially those F&B operators who are providing experience, dine-in experience to the consumers, right? Okay. So from mid to premium brands, they're all heavily affected. And I would say this round of MCO is even worse than the first 2 rounds. Reason being, we also see a lot of new homemakers also selling F&B, even burger or even chicken chop, right? Okay, online. So that kind of take up some of the market share from the existing F&B operators. And due to the fact that a lot of people, I think, they also lost their job. The lowest entry of barriers is definitely F&B. So the market has gotten more and more fragmented because of that. Hence, I would say no one is making money. Most of them, they are losing. But out of this gloomy outlook, there are still some positivity out of it. I do see some operators doing pretty well, right? Okay, especially some of them are selling desserts, well-known desserts, right? Okay. And some of them, they start pivoting towards cloud kitchen or share kitchen, as you call it, right? Okay. So from a service provider perspective, because we also serve more than 10,000 F&B operators on our platforms, so we also see some of the players are doing pretty well, right? Okay, so I can share a little bit more later on who are the one doing well, right? Okay, and then I can share what have they done, right? Okay, and then by doing that, there might be some takeaway for our existing guests here.
Okay,
Brian,
Dr.
I just want to respond to what Lee Chung said just now.
Yeah.
I think it's quite interesting, in terms of some of the F&B places that have pivoted and done well. I was speaking to venture capitalists last weekend, and one of the portfolio companies that is under her group pivoted to selling cakes online. And apparently they are doing very well in terms of selling cakes. I'm like, oh, so people are buying cakes now. So I guess they want to buy cakes to celebrate at home or to have some luxury items to consume. I also want to have more dessert, during these challenging times. Usually I don't want to eat dessert, so but now okay lah. Yes, correct. Lee Chung, what do you think?
Indeed. In fact, desserts, right? Okay, is one of the best selling items, right? Because all of us we are cooped up at home, right? Okay, we don't know what to do. Okay, even though we would like to celebrate a little bit. So the only thing which should give us some consolation is desserts, cakes, ice creams, right? Sweet.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, but
I asked my wife buy some more ice cream so I can eat at home.
But this is where the logistics has improved now, because I think delivery of ice cream probably was not something that was really in the realm of possibility 3 or 4 years ago. Today, because of speed, that is absolutely possible.
And Lee Chung will know this better technology in terms of holding the temperature down as well. I mean, we can transfer and transport vaccines at very low temperatures. Why not food? Why not food and beverages, right?
Yep, it has improved a lot. A few years ago, you don't really see a lot of cold chain storage operators, right? But now you can see all of them mushrooming up, right? Especially with the support from foreign direct investment like Japanese parties. So you can see some of the logistic companies listed on Bursa Malaysia. They do have great partners who are many Japanese who has imparted that kind of knowledge to them.
Okay, so one of the key things that's changed, obviously, is the whole delivery, right? So a lot of F&B operators, even though we are not allowed to have dine-in, have been able to at least survive by delivery. Some people obviously have been able to thrive because of delivery. Now, how have Lee Chung, from the people in your ecosystem and your realm of partnerships, can you walk us through maybe how some of the small guys have kind of pivoted and done well, and also maybe some medium-sized guys who perhaps have had shops, 2 or 3 outlets and stuff like that? How have they really grown? Because as you said, you've got a lot more competition now. You've got and all these food delivery platforms as well, like Food Panda and stuff like that, and Grab Food. It's really hard to get noticed, right? So if you're a small guy, how do you start?
Okay, so the whole idea is a collaborative approach, right? Okay, so let's not look at all the players as competitors in the first place. Even Grab and Food Panda, yes, they do charge a very exorbitant fees, like 30-35%. I believe you saw a lot of all these posts on social media that they should lower it down or whatsoever. But they do help quite a lot of F&B operators, when it comes to performance marketing and raising the brand awareness as well. So these are how some of the small operators, they start building a few brands within their existing kitchen. They call it internet restaurants. Whatever you call it, it can be virtual restaurants, internet restaurants, all right, or ghost kitchen, dark kitchen. Okay, there's a lot of names, but it means the same thing. So for them who has pivoted towards that direction, but they must be great at coming up with new menu, right? Okay, I'll give you an example. You might be great at selling local cuisine, but it doesn't mean that you'll be able to come up with a Western menu or even Korean menu or whatsoever, right? Okay, but because of the market segments, most of the customers they value they go for value for money rather than great products, right? Okay, so as long as you're able to lower down your cost and sell it at a very much affordable price, like 9 ringgit 90 cent, 10 ringgit 90 cent, and put it on GrabFood or Food Panda, I think you'll be able to grab the attention of the customers.
So Lee Chung, that's the sweet spot, right? 9 ringgit 90, 10 ringgit.
That's the sweet spot, really. Yeah. Okay. And just wet some promotion, right? But their margin will be affected. But all they want is survival. I don't care whether I only earn 13% or 15% this round, right? Okay, it's all about volume game. But because of this action, it also have negative implication on other F&B players who are maintaining their existing selling price, like 20 ringgit for one chicken chop. Are they willing to lower down the selling price from 20 down to 10? Well, very likely they will, because of the competitions, right? Okay, so everyone will be selling chicken chop. So branding and digital marketing plays a very important role in this sense.
Hey, Brian, I'd like to respond a little bit. I'll come back and ask Lee Chung about the cloud kitchen later on. But I think in the arena of big data that we deal with these days, including food delivery, I think Lee Chung would probably know this better than me. The algorithms behind Foodpanda and also Grab, they privilege those with very high volumes, right? Especially those that are selling at a relatively cheap price, right? So those will be promoted, and then they will be seen as the poster boys. But the sad part is that you have like 20-80 rule. You have 80% of the others who cannot even get enough orders to sort of like make ends meet, so to speak. So it's pretty tough. And what ends up happening is that you need to have a multi-channel sort of like marketing. Sometimes some people rely on Facebook. I've actually recommended to some of the restaurants in my area, try and get a local WhatsApp list, right? So that you can be more responsive. And if it's local, then you can deliver yourself even at quite minimal cost. And then you don't need to pay that 20 to 30 or to 30% of that delivery cost that's charged by some of these operators.
Dr. Ong, one of the things that you talk about WhatsApp, some of the food operators are doing is actually this. They are joining or get invited into condominium WhatsApp groups. So essentially, that's a very low cost way because they've got a captive audience and they've got a lot of audience. For example, I live in a condo that has over 500 units, and a lot of people are young people who survive on delivery. So that's a very low cost way from a marketing standpoint to get yourself invited into one of these WhatsApp groups for condominiums, and then you can basically grow your business that way.
Correct. And I even suggested to one of the F&B outlets in my area, you can actually do some simple posters, to get yourself known first to the condo association, so that at least they can see, hey, you got an interesting menu. Maybe we can put you into the group and offer a service. And then also another thing that maybe can be considered is that for some of these guys, right, they don't know how to do the digital marketing, right? Facebook and some of these places, they advertise on Facebook. They put their restaurant and menu on Facebook, but they do not do FB promotions. And that's why it's quite important to have these digitalization grants that the federal government is giving through MDEC, Selangor State government is giving through CDEC, even Maxis is giving through their digitalization funds. It's important to be able to access these funds. Lee Chung, I'm sure your customers will also use some of this, right?
Oh, yes, indeed. Currently, most of them, we also partner with our partners who has gotten this MDEC grants or CDEC grants from the governments, right, to help all these F&B operators. But unfortunately, okay, I'm one of the victims of Grab and Foodpanda in that sense. Like what Dr. Ong mentioned just now, as long as you are based on the data analytics and performance marketing, as long as you are the top volume, the top 20, right? Okay, the remaining 80% will kind of be sacrificed, right? Okay, or victimized, right? In that sense. So the more channels we have, the better. But the problem is with Facebook, I have that experience ourselves when we run Facebook marketing for our cafes, right? Okay, we sell cakes and other coffee and other food as well. In the first 1 week, it's doing so well. Then suddenly something changed, right? I think Facebook had changed their algorithms, right? We have to rethink again, right? Okay, what went wrong? And then spend another 1 week, okay, figuring out, then got it right again, change again, right? So you can imagine, right? It's so disruptive to the business. But what else can we do? And interestingly, Doctor pointed out WhatsApp. So you know that to come on board Grab or Foodpanda, it takes time. Sometimes it even takes about a month. Okay, you couldn't even get the application done, right?
Really? Okay, that is interesting. I never knew it takes so long to get onboarded.
Yep, it's true. All right, okay.
But
because
other platforms now, right? These are the true giants. But which are the other platforms that F&B entrepreneurs, whether small or large, can actually go into, because there are a plethora of platforms, AirAsia Food being one of them, right?
Yes, there are a few like AirAsia, Asia Fresh, right? And then you have Bip Eat, right, by StoreHub. Then even under our group ecosystem, we have Food Advisor, which when we started is a food discovery platform, but we also provide food delivery as well, because when people review all the brands on our website, they feel like ordering. So that allows them to have that on-demand food delivery immediately. So I do have a few clients, right? Okay, who couldn't go on board Grab or Foodpanda. So what they did is we came up with the WhatsApp order form for them immediately in 1 day. So turn around in 1 day, they got it up, and guess how much they're getting from our platforms a day? Close to about 2,000 to 3,000 sales per day, right? Wow. Okay, yeah. So that has been fantastic, because we have been helping those underserved retailers which has been neglected by the big boys, right? Okay, so there are other channels out there who are helping. In fact, we only take about 15% cuts of their transaction value, as opposed to Foodpanda or Grab 30 to 35%. And because we're also focusing on products that customers are more willing to pay for, right? Which means the ticket size per transactions could be 150 ringgit, 200 ringgit. Cakes. People are more willing to pay for 130 ringgit for cakes. Am I right, doctor? Okay, even ice cream, right? Okay. and all these customers, they're also willing to pay for the delivery fees. So this is how we help.
Higher end customer than in your platform.
Not necessarily higher end. It's just that because of the products, right? Transaction value is much higher. Okay, so the customer do mind paying for a delivery fees of 10 ringgit, 15 ringgit, if the transaction value itself is already 150 or 200 ringgit, right? You do want to pay for 15 ringgit if you order a product which is only about 30 ringgit. It looks expensive, right? Okay, so this is how we help the other segments, which is in the mid to upper segments, right? Okay, so that they are able to grab more sales other than relying on the existing big platforms.
Yeah, actually, there's also another sort of like a hidden secret that is some of these platforms, they are not so customized to the Chinese speaking crowd. I think Lee Chung knows this lah. So there's actually some apps that are specifically catered to the Chinese speaking crowd. It will look funny in English, right? But because the original is in Chinese, and then these are the platforms that actually you can find your local char kway teow sellers selling their stuff there. Correct, Lee Chung?
Oh, yes. I know another operator which is doing very well in that segments. So each different segments, if you find the right delivery partner, right? Okay, you will be able to gain more traffic or more revenue from them.
Yeah. So yeah, Brian, you probably would not heard of Easy lah, right? Easy.
No,
I think
so
Lee Chung knows what I'm
really,
talking.
for me, it's fascinating because it's completely out of my field of vision, right? But
you see, Brian, your assumption was that just because I'm an MP, I don't know about all these things. You know, I'm very capable.
Because he's also a consumer.
Absolutely.
No, I want to help the people on the ground to be able to, overcome some of the challenges that they're facing.
Okay.
So you got to be able to know the different platforms.
Now, Dr. Ong, you are MP for Bangi, so that has also a sizable Malay community. Now, Lee Chung, can you tell us, or maybe Kian Ming yourself, what are the Malay-centric platforms that perhaps people are using that we don't know a lot about?
Actually, for the Malay consumer, Foodpanda and Grab, those are the ones that usually would dominate.
Foodpanda and Grab.
Okay.
Really, it's mainly Foodpanda and Grab. You know why?
Yeah.
Because Grab and Foodpanda, they focus more on the low tier segment. Right?
Yes,
okay.
Correct. The price points are lower.
Cheap. Yeah. 9 ringgit, 8 ringgit. You can even find 7 ringgit sometimes.
Okay. Now, can I ask you, in terms of, I think I want to go back to the fact that we want to give people a perspective of these cloud kitchens. Now, Dr. Ong, you had a very interesting, before the show, you talked about a platform that basically people can go in and sign up as a cloud kitchen for free. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, no, let me sort of like correct that a bit. What I said before the show started was that I know of a particular place lah. It's somewhere in Bangi. It's sort of like a hotel resort place that also has a central kitchen, whereby they managed to get the foreign manufacturers of different cloud kitchen kind of equipment. And we're talking about from Germany, from Italy, from France, from Japan, to put their equipment in the kitchen for free, right? And to let these guys use it to cook and to cook pre-cooked food and whatnot, pre-packaged food, for Raya and whatnot. And these are equipment that are in the hundreds of thousands of ringgit, right? Can Lee Chong, can you guess why they would want to put those equipment there for free? Can you guess or not?
Well, okay. If I'm not mistaken, it's mainly for experiential learning, and also, well, it's a very good place for people to try out their equipments. Okay, and yeah, that's it. I know which one you're referring to. I've been there before. It's amazing, right? Okay.
Yes.
I love what they do. If they're able to open up to the public, okay, especially the F&B operators, okay, to work together and use that facility, that would be fantastic.
Lee Chong, so after this MCO is over, we get together, we get a few of the people in your ecosystem, we go to this place, and then I can quite assure you that they'll be willing to open up to share their experiences with you guys.
Fantastic. Okay,
is that a deal?
That is a deal. That is a deal. Okay.
We already have seen some takeaways from this session. That's a good next step. But guys, one of the things that's also talked about a lot, not only in Malaysia, but it's revenge spending. So essentially, when we start to open up, basically people will start to spend a lot. Now, virtual platforms, I think, Tham, you have a virtual platform in terms of events. Can you kind of share a little bit about it and what your plans are in terms of that?
Sure. So we are the leading event space, event services, and catering booking platform in Malaysia, right? Okay, so we have more than close to about 4,000 F&B operators, or including hotels, which have listed their venues on our platform. So we match users with all these spaces. Yes, it has been very, very tough since last year. Last year, we still get some events, okay, registered on our platforms once we open up. But this year, it has been very quiet because of the whole year is almost gone because of the MCO, am I right? Hence, but inquiries are flooding in, right? We've started receiving a lot of inquiries for events spaces for wedding purpose, especially for weddings, right? Okay. For graduation, baby shower, right? Family related events. Starting from December 2021 onwards, 2022, a lot of inquiries. We even get inquiries up to 2023 as well, right? So I do expect there will be a surge in events in 2022 if everything is under control.
Okay. Dr. Ong, if you do you have anything to add to that? Otherwise, let's start the question.
Okay, so two things to add. Firstly, on the cloud kitchen thing, right? Since you have viewers from the rest of Southeast Asia who are tuning in, the reason why that place that I mentioned just now in Bangi is so attractive to the foreign manufacturers, right, is that even though the equipment is expensive in terms of ringgit terms, but Malaysia is a very good place to come and visit from hotels, flights, value for money standpoint. So this is the best place in Southeast Asia to put. You're not going to put this stuff in Singapore because it's very expensive. Exactly. So when the economy opens up, when you have these kinds of networks that are operating, and our friends from Southeast Asia are more than welcome to come in, subject to whatever SOPs the government will come up with. This can also help the tourism sector. They come in here, they eat more in Malaysia, they go to the restaurants that Food Advisor recommends, right?
Yes,
it becomes a very healthy ecosystem. Yeah. So that's one. Second thing, I'd just like to follow on from what Lee Chong said just now, right? All these pre-bookings, right? You can actually tweak the system, and I think there should be platforms that can help you tweak the let's say the voucher system, and this is something that an idea that my interns proposed, for the hotels and leisure segment, whereby you can buy a voucher of a certain value, right? Let's say 100 ringgit that you can spend within a certain time, right? That's the normal way of having a voucher, right? Yeah. But what happens if let's say you say, okay, if let's say you spend this voucher 3 months after you bought it, then the value will go up to 120 ringgit. right? If you spend it 1 month after you bought it, the value will be 80 ringgit or 90 ringgit, right? So this is how you tweak the system to allow or incentivize people to cash in on their vouchers later when maybe things are more stable. You don't have this revenge spending that's right from the beginning after people open up. So these can be some of the creative ways that F&B outlets, especially those, let's say, dim sum places and all that, they're going to be really jam-packed once it's open up, right? You need to be able to adjust these kinds of crowds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a fantastic idea. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Okay, after the show, I'm just going to tell my team, that my tech team, right? Okay, include in the tech system, right? That's it.
Now,
free advice from doctor.
So this is
no problem.
Sorry, go ahead, Dr. Ong.
No, so I think it's good that we can share ideas so that more people can participate, and all these things build up the ecosystem for Malaysia and also for Southeast Asia.
Now, now we'd like to open up the session to anyone who would like to ask questions. Please ask your questions in the comment section and we will try to answer them or even invite you in. Now, there is a guest that's been waiting very patiently. Her name is Vivian, and we're just about to let her in to log in. I've just let her in. So Vivian, when you're online, please unmute yourself and ask the questions. Okay, let's
Hello,
wait.
Vivian.
Hi, Vivian.
This is my intern, Vivian. I asked her to sit in and take notes.
Oh, very
So for every one of my public events, I ask one of my interns to sit in to take notes in case I forget, getting old already.
Yes. Hi, Vivian.
Hi, Vivian.
That's Vivian. Yes. There was also Alan that we're waiting for, that logged in previously and then logged out. So if any one of you who would like to, please ask your question, and you will get a link so that you can basically come online and ask questions.
Yeah, Vivian, I think she's ready to speak already. She's ready to ask a question.
Okay, Vivian, go ahead, please. I'm letting in now Alan, who is someone from Johor Bahru, actually, who runs a couple of F&B outlets.
Hi, Alan.
Sorry, hi guys, how's it going?
Hi, good to see you, man.
Not too bad, thanks.
Okay, Alan, fire away. What would you like to ask? You're an entrepreneur.
No, I just joined in. Come, bring me up to speed.
So this is the Q&A session. We wanted to get insights and feedback from F&B entrepreneurs like yourself. How are you coping with this in Johor Bahru?
Yeah, I think Johor Bahru's been probably
decimated.
Hit worse than anywhere else. Yeah, decimated.
No more Singaporeans. No more Singaporeans.
I mean, it's not just the Singaporeans. I mean, the restaurants, I think, which had Singaporeans as their primary clientele, yeah, those guys are gone. But it's from there's like a cottage industry that's set up on the way to the checkpoint and on the way back, which is for the 200,000 people that commute every day. So all of that's closed. Most restaurants are closed.
Alan,
yeah.
you look like a guy who would have F&B outlets that would also serve certain kinds of nice beverages, to cool us down and to relax us. Is that a true assumption? Is that a true assumption? Is that a correct assumption?
I had the first bar that sold absinthe.
Okay, so what's the status of your outlets now?
Actually, yeah, I fortunately F&B was my Batman job. My Bruce Wayne job is still fine, but it's been quite adversely hit. I think we've closed everything. Actually, the sports bar is closed, the Thai and Indonesian restaurants closed, the bar is closed, the wine shop also had to close. The last one that was still kind of going strong till about 4 months ago was the catering company, because we were also doing a lot of catering for the places that served as quarantine centers. Right. Yeah, but even that was the last to go.
Yeah, but do you have multiple brands under your...
Decimated is the right word.
Right. Alan, do you have multiple brands under your catering company?
No, just one.
Oh, okay. So have you thought of extending to a cloud kitchen concept?
Yeah, we thought about it, but you see, it's there's I think only 2 cloud kitchens of note here. The rest, because we're quite a sparsely, I mean, we're not a densely populated city, and like, you know, from one end of town to the other, it's quite far. So I don't think cloud kitchens have really taken off here as much as they have in KL.
Right. Okay.
But
Yeah.
Alan, how about your outlets that you've shut down? Some of them, was there an opportunity then to negotiate? And this is one of the things I think F&B entrepreneurs are facing across Malaysia, which is basically, can I renegotiate my rents with my landlords to survive? Some landlords are smart. They know that the moment they lose their tenant, basically they're not going to get another tenant for a while. So they offer a little bit more flexibility to their.
Oh yeah, we had a great tenant. UEM was the the landlord for Puteri Harbour. Okay. They've effectively given, I mean, they've given basically a 1-year rent free for 2020, which was good. Initially it was 6 months. They extended it for a year. For this year, they've been silent on the collection of rent. So we've kind of let it slide as well. Yeah. But yeah, so far no one's been. But to be fair, a lot of the shops that the shop houses here, I've noticed maybe 3 out of 4 have shuttered. So I presume that would probably be the outlets where they didn't own the properties and the landlords have basically forced them to close. So yeah, it's been a high rate of attrition.
Brian, maybe I can jump in on your questions, right? Okay. So even if the landlord, they're willing to give some waiver for say 3 months, 6 months, right? Okay. But sometimes the operating cost, right, is even higher than the revenue that you're able to generate. Yeah. So it doesn't matter whether the rent is low enough or they give you free rental or based on percentage. If the demand is not there, no matter what, you keep struggling and you just get more and more demotivating. Not only for the owners, but also for the staff, right? Okay.
But it's the way forward for some, and because you know there are some F&B entrepreneurs. Your fit out alone is 250,000, 300,000, 500,000, 1 million. So you've got a lot of sunk costs. Is then the revival of the industry contingent upon perhaps saying, okay, I'm going to shut down now because basically it's not economical for me to operate? And you renegotiate, I mean, the landlord is highly unlikely to be able to rent it out. And then you say you basically have a recovery plan that says, all right, at X point of some point which you determine in terms of key performance indicators, that you say we are going to reopen and revive the business. Is that a logical thing that some F&B operators are looking at? Alan, especially for you, because you've got a lot of sunk costs in some of your outlets.
I'll be honest, I think, okay, I can't speak for everyone, but from my limited experience with F&B, it's not something that you can press pause on, right? Like, especially when you've got like a restaurant that's running full pelt 7 days a week, they can't pause, close for 2 weeks and then reopen. It takes time to get the engine running. There's a lot of moving parts to a restaurant that it's hard. Once you shut, to then reopen, you can't just pick up where you left off. And once you've lost your staff, you've lost your key personnel, it's not the same anymore.
Yeah. I have to agree with Alan. Theoretically speaking, Brian, you are right? Okay. If everything, you keep the cost low, you just shut it for a few months. But here comes the other factor that a lot of people they haven't factored in, which is the how strong is the mindset of the owner, and also the mentality stress. Are they able, right, okay, to endure that over the next few months? You don't know when this will end. Whether it will end maybe end of December, you never know. Could be next year, right? Okay, and you can't expect the owner doing nothing, just praying that okay, after 2 months I'll reopen, right? Okay, so I think that is quite torturing for a lot of people, right? Okay, so sometimes I'd rather just close it and not think about it, right? Okay, and wait until everything is settled down and then replan what's next then.
Now, Tham, I got to ask you a question. Is there then, you talk about opportunities. So if somebody who has never been in the F&B business before, there's going to be a lot of closed shops which are very well fitted out.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Is there then an opportunity then?
Yes, I totally. It's an opportunity. In every crisis, it's an opportunity. In fact, because right now a lot of employees has been retrenched, and some of them they do get some decent VSS or MSS amount, right? Okay, and most of them, the first thing that crossed their mind is maybe I should start an F&B. Am I right? Right? Okay.
Yes, because it's a sexy thing. Somehow people, and unless they've actually worked in a restaurant, I have in university, I wash dishes, I work in a McDonald's, I work in fine dining. I know how hard it is to run the F&B business, not everything. But for a lot of people, they have a romanticized version of starting a food business because they think it's recession proof. So I think that you're right. You know, that's the kind of thing. They got some BSS money and they think, okay, let's start a food business.
Yeah, and always, okay, I think out of 9 out of 10, right? Okay, opening a cafe or restaurant is in our bucket list. Somehow it's in our bucket list, right? Okay. Ella, I'm not sure.
Definitely not mine. Not mine.
Not mine before. It's not anymore.
Yeah. I'm one of those that kind of fell into it, right? That I'm like, oh, I'm sure, you know, if I like to drink, I'm sure I can find 50 other people that like to drink, and yeah, let's take it from there, right? But it's the day it starts becoming a business is the day it stops being fun.
But
Alan, Brian, can I just bring up a point here? I think what you say about people jumping in when there's an opportunity, I think is a fair point. But we have to go and look at the larger F&B ecosystem. You don't necessarily have to jump on at the retail end, right? If let's say I was an enterprising entrepreneur with some capital, backing me, what I would do now is perhaps go to different kitchens and go to different restaurants and say, look, I'm willing to buy your equipment at a discount, and then suddenly I become an equipment wholesaler. Yeah. Right. With the right logistics, you'll be able to redeploy in a very quick fashion, and you'll be able to get good money for it. You know, just and there's a lot of different parts of the supply chain, provision of the equipment, provision of the cutleries, the tax system that Lee Chong and his partners are operating in. So don't only think of it in terms of the front end, which is the selling of the food itself. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I can share a little bit about that. It doesn't mean that you have to run a retail business. For example, I own a cakes production company. That division has kept us afloat, right? Okay. And during the first MCO, in fact, that's the only division which is generating profits, which allowed me to pay the staff salary for other cafes division, right? Okay. And that is only production. We don't even have any outlets, right? Okay. 100% from delivery and pickup. And speaking of equipments, right? Malaysia has a very vibrant second-hand market. Okay. And all these equipments, freezer, chillers, it may mean nothing to bankers, right? Okay. It's junks. But someone's junks is someone's treasure.
Yeah.
I'd rather go with second-hand equipments and chillers, right? Okay. Rather than buying a new one. I just need to do a little bit of fixing. That's it, right? Okay. And voila. Okay. I'm back to business. So if you have the capital, like what Toto say, you hold it, right? Okay. And fix it. When the economy bounce back, there'll be a lot of demand for that. Yeah.
So, Tham, are we looking at, so if you can go and buy this equipment, because I know that the residual value for all of this is relatively low. So it's
low, too low. Maybe you can ask Alan.
20 cents on the, Alan, 20 cents on the dollar?
Let's put it this way, my super high-end combi oven, I let it go for what, 10 cents to the dollar.
Wow, yeah. Okay, that is kind of market rate. There are even operators who has invested, say, $500,000 in the outlets, including renovation and say wet work, right? So you can assume close to about 150,000 in kitchens, equipments, and furnitures. They can let go at 15,000. Lots of barrels, right? Okay. Yeah. That's how bad it is. But there are always other players who are able to buy everything, right? Okay, and resell it in the future at a very good margin.
You can, because basically you got a place to store it.
Warehouse storage cost, yes, you must have that huge place to store it.
Yeah, so
there's a lot of factories in my Kawasan and Blakong, and one of them I think Lee Chung would probably know, that does a lot of. They started out in steel making, and then now they've branched into kitchen displays and whatnot, and then they store a lot of these secondhand materials that they buy from different outlets lah.
Yeah. So for those factories which are not utilizing their space anymore, right? Okay, one way is collaborate with them. Instead of spending additional warehouse storage costs, right? Collaborate with them. They earn a little bit of money. Do a profit sharing.
Yep, that's a very good way to do that.
Maybe one point to encourage Alan lah, right? So I know that the cases in Johor are still high, but of course not as high as in Selangor and KL lah, right? But I've been appointed by the Menteri Besar of Selangor and also with the agreement of Khairi to be the coordinator for the Selangor part of the this operation surge capacity, whereby we're going to get every single person adult in Selangor Klang Valley vaccinated by next Sunday, right? And that would mean that we will also get about 40% of all adults in the Klang Valley vaccinated. So that will bring down the serious cases of COVID significantly. And I'm hoping that the dine-in sector would open, they will open to those who have been fully vaccinated sometime in August, right? Middle to the end of August, right? And if let's say the same kind of exercise can be replicated in Johor, and I'm sure that the minister is open to that after the Klang Valley, then you'll have the same kind of hopes also in Johor. And more importantly, once the number of cases in the Klang Valley go down, right, the larger number of whatever 15,000 that it is today will also go down, and hopefully that will convince our neighbors in Singapore to slowly allow these traveling privileges lah, and that will also help the Johor economy.
Okay, right. So since Alan's here, and since Doctor has given him a gift, right? Okay, maybe I should do something special for you as well, Alan. So Alan, you're saying that right now you're providing catering services to vaccination centers, am I right?
No, this was, so like I said, that was the Batman job. My Bruce Wayne job is I run a group practice here in Johor.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So I've got nine.
So Alan is a healthcare entrepreneur. He's got lots.
Yeah, I've got 9 clinics here in Johor. So right, I'm not entirely fussed that the F&B outlets have shut, but I feel bad for my staff because they've been very loyal to me. They've worked well, and we have a double talent drain here in Johor. So like our best and brightest go to Singapore, right? The rest go to KL. So for me to have retained them for that long, it was sad for me to let them go, right? So that's something I'm hoping that maybe we can restart the catering business, at least for the hotels, when the borders reopen. Because our hotels here have always had very high occupancy, and we've been doing breakfast catering for a couple of hotels here. So that's something I hope we can resume when the borders reopen.
Okay, right. Okay, so when you do catering, right, is there any products that you wish you are able to sell but you're unable to produce?
Oh, good question.
Right, which will lead me to a gift for you.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Example. Okay, you might be specializing in Western food, right? Okay. Right. I'm not sure. Maybe you don't know how to prepare the best nasi lemak or the best chicken chop or even the best laksa, right? Okay. You wish you had that recipe, or you wish you own certain brands. Am I right? Okay. Then you can give your clients or your customers a more fantastic holistic experience. Wow, now I can get all this food all from Alan, right? Okay. Or even the best coffee. Okay. So what if I tell you today, I'm able to get you those good names and partner with you by giving you the recipe so you are able to sell on their behalf, because they might not have the capacity to reach out to all these clients that you have. But they have that name and that recipe, which they are ready to partner with you.
Yeah, but why would you run that through restaurants? I mean, logically, you can run a Blue Apron style business with that, right? So that means instead of, you could have various restaurants contribute their recipes to like I said, it's like a Blue Apron. I quite like that model actually.
Yeah.
If I would launch something again, I would launch something like that.
Yes. Right now, if I tell you, I have all these people ready, right? Okay. they're ready to jump in and partner with you, take their brand and their recipe so that you can serve your customers, and they also earn a portion of the income as well, right? By sharing with you that idea. We will love that.
Yeah, sounds feasible.
Okay, that's the deal. Okay, I'll contact you.
A couple of questions that I want to ask you guys. One is from Michael. Michael basically has this thing he says, and I'm going to read it verbatim. How to solve the delivery fee to outstation? If we have pre-measured baking kit, is the shelf life for 2 days, and the package is sold at $65 per package. Kind of. That's okay. That's a question verbatim.
Right. Okay. So is he referring to cakes?
I believe that's what he's referring to.
Right. Okay. So I have that. Is he able to come online?
We have invited him online, but he has not responded.
Okay, fine. Okay, maybe I can take that because I have my own experience doing that. I have delivered cakes all the way to Seremban, all the way to Port Dickson and Penang, right, from Klang Valley.
Okay.
It cost me about 50 ringgit for one transactions. But sometimes the customer are willing to pay for it.
Yeah, if it's a high-end cake, it's a custom cake. Yeah, you pay for it because custom cake is not cheap.
Yep, and it's not even a custom cake. It's not even a custom cake, right? Okay.
Wow, your cakes are so good.
It's a bunches cake. It's a bunches cake, right? Okay. If you're able, normal price is say 130 ringgit or 150 ringgit. Right now, you get it for 75 ringgit, and topping out another 50 ringgit. For those in Penang or Port Dickson, right, okay, they do mind paying for it because that is the original price that already paid for it. As long as the cakes producer or the vendor are willing to lower down the price from 130 to down to 80 or 75.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So I have done that before. It works, right? Okay. They will put in the cold chain van, and it's still very fresh when the customer receive it. I have done more than 100 deliveries outside of Klang Valley myself.
Okay, so Michael, I hope that answers your question. Now, the second one is from David. It says, hi, Tham, is it possible to launch a membership program with multiple F&B brands, which allows us to cash in credit, but spend later at different brands' outlets, especially those who need cash flow to walk through the pandemic? Because customers have the flexibility and security as it's not just tied up with a single brand or outlet, which is risky. Hence, more people are willing to support in addition to rebate and reward. This is from David.
Yes. Theoretically, yes. Practically, no.
Okay.
Let me show you why. Okay. Unless your brands are everywhere nationwide, or not, let's not put nationwide, even Klang Valley, right? Okay. You need to have that 30, 40, 50 outlets, right? Then the consumers are more willing to pay for it and just for the vouchers and keep it. Otherwise, by keeping that vouchers, they don't know when they're able to spend it. So unless they buy these vouchers just for the sake of supporting the local brands so that we survive, otherwise, practically speaking, it does not really add value to the consumers by buying the vouchers, right? Okay. Instead of doing that, the more feasible thing to do is, why not partner with some big chain stores who already have that multiple outlets and locations, right? That will add in more appealing factors for the consumers to buy it. When they see, oh, okay, now I am able to enjoy maybe 20, 30 brands, but out of that 20, 30 brands, there are 4 or 5 anchor brands. At least the anchor brands are there. We need anchor brands to bring up that kind of effect.
Okay.
Yeah, actually another idea, Brian, I'm not sure whether this will fly or not, but Tham will probably know better. Why not have, instead of branding together with other F&B outlets or food brands, why not try to leverage on some sort of a unique customer experience, right? If let's say you can brand it together with some sort of dinner for 2 and the hotel getaway somewhere during Merdeka weekend, and it's not just F&B. You can brand it together with like champagne and something that's special, because there's a lot of pent up spending power that people have not gone out to do.
Yes.
So if let's say your brand you think is strong enough, distinctive enough, try to do something that's more creative rather than just limit yourself to branding within F&B lah.
Well,
yeah, and at the end of the day, it's just like the tech industry, right? We partner in the tech industry, we partner with everybody. And I think that sometimes that mindset is not so prevalent in other industries, because the tech industry, they will partner with, whether it's F&B, whether it's oil and gas, or whether, it doesn't matter, because we're so used to collaboration. Whereas F&B, perhaps people tend to stay within their own ecosystem.
Yeah. They need to go there and venture more and look at crossover. Now the keyword is crossover, right? Okay. I give you an example that one of the crossover that I've done with Moy Hennessy, right? Because one of the platforms that we do, we are a leading online alcohol delivery platform called Boost It. I'm not sure, Alan, have you bought from us?
Yes.
Before? Right. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for
no worries, man.
So we have done this collaboration with W Hotel, right? With Moy Hennessy as well. And as long as you participate, you bought certain amount of Moy Hennessy, then you're able to participate in the lucky draw, which will allow you to have that 1 night, 2 days, right? And a romantic dinner sponsored by a celebrity chef, right? Okay. So that campaign is quite successful. It's a win-win-win for 3 parties. So I think we can replicate that for a restaurant which are able to deliver some unique experience, right?
And you said one of the things is, and you know, Kian Ming, because we are going to open selectively with small groups, perhaps that's the way to get bigger ticket sizes, because you've just mapped out the strategy in terms of the openings. So after we are vaccinated, we are going to be able to have small dinners. Maybe Tham, that's the strategy. You just said it. It's unique experiences, your private dining in the corner. So you say, okay, only 2 can go, but it's private dining, and they wrap different things around it, because people will pay. A lot of people still have jobs and have not been spending the money that they've been making from their jobs.
Yeah.
You know, you can bring in musicians. You know, I'm sure Alan would know a lot of musicians.
Yeah, we did,
right?
we did a lot of that actually.
You know how many people are dying to go on dates?
Yeah.
I mean, just think of that just as pent up demand, and just
it should be Valentine's Day every day.
Every day for the rest of the year.
Every day is Valentine's Day.
You know, so you know, whether it's guys or girls or whatever. I mean, everyone.
So Alan, with the same girlfriend or different girlfriend for different days.
My wife is in the next room now.
Now we don't have gentlemen. We are what I'd like to do now is perhaps have a recap and some takeaways from each of you before we end the conversation today, because we're coming up to the hour already. I want to start with Dr. Ong. Could you maybe, from your perspective, maybe give us some takeaways from this session, and perhaps some to-dos after this session?
Okay, this is something that I've offered to other SME owners before. Basically, you know, I used to be a BCG consultant, and I offered free consulting services now to all those who want to, you know, seek some assistance, and with ideas like, you know, what my intern gave earlier on these vouchers that you can redeem at different times. So a lot of these kinds of ideas, I think, can be followed up on. And also to Alan, if you have any outstanding wage subsidy applications, I've helped a couple of SME owners with this as well, getting back anywhere from 10,000 to over 100,000. It's not my, I don't charge a commission, nothing, right? I just you know, forward the request. But I just have one thing to say: when you want to use this service, make sure that you did not claim for people that did not work for you. Then they'll be asking you for money.
Of course.
Right. So that's an offer that I give to everyone who's listening. You can you know, just Google my name and find my email. That's one. Second thing is, I really encourage people to go and network more. Network not just within your industry, but outside your industry as well, because that's where you get a lot of interesting ideas, right? Lee Chong, being the serial entrepreneur he is, you know, he goes everywhere, talks to different people, right? You know, works with Moet Hennessy, works with hotel chains and blah, 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 that sort of thing. So that's where you get a lot of creativity. And then probably the third point that I want to make is that your leverage on your employees and your suppliers, right? They themselves may have certain ideas that they want to propose to you. Once the economy starts to open, and it will, then, you know, that's the time for you to really, you know, do things differently and do it better. Yeah, thanks.
Now, Alan, how about you? You come on as a guest. Any takeaways, any nuggets that you want to share with the audience before we end?
I think we were discussing this with my friends who run restaurants and bars in Singapore. We said that in this part of the world, for us going out to eat, dine, entertain, this is normal, right? We rarely eat at home. We're more used to going out. And now that entire narrative has shifted for the last, year and a half. We spend more time at home and we hardly go out. And I think that's one thing, as you said, the pent-up demand. We in F&B, we need to encourage people to come out and experience that again, like reconnect with that. And for the public, let's not also be gentle to our F&B operators, right? When the next time you go to a bar, or you go to a restaurant, and the service is not, ultra top notch, like, cut them a bit of slack. At least, that everybody's still getting their gears moving again, right? But we will recover, right? I think that is key. Everybody needs to stay positive.
Thanks, Alan. Lee Chung, final words from you, please. Words,
okay.
Nuggets of wisdom.
Thank you. So, don't give up. No matter what happened, never give up. Right? There are helps out there. Right? Like I say, I also run F&B outlets myself. I'm also struggling. It's not that because I'm here giving a talk, right? Okay, it means that I'm doing well. My F&B are also struggling. So we are not alone in this, right? Okay. But there's always a silver lining. It gives me a lot of space to think of what else can I do to help the community, right? Okay, and I can provide that services and solutions under my retail and financial technology solution ecosystem. So those platforms that I mentioned just now, be it event space, catering booking platform, or our alcohol e-commerce as well. We also have a funding solutions division, which we provide working capital financing to the retailers. We also help them to advise them how to raise funds from equity crowdfunding as well, right? I know funds will be very, very important, especially during this critical moment. And on top of that, we also have other partner solutions and retail marketing solutions to help them to increase their revenue, right? Okay. Explore avenues outside of physical stores. Look at our stores revenue, not only from online, but through partnership with the likes like Petronas, DG, U Mobile, HSBC, Maybank as well, because they are also my clients, right? So I'm able to help all the retailers in town, be it F&B or non-F&B, to help you guys to go through that difficult moment, because I'm one of the beneficiaries of using those services as well, right? So yeah, never give up.
Now, gentlemen, thank you very much for taking your time to be on the show.
Thank you so much, Ryan.
Now, I'm Brian Fernandez, and I've been speaking to Dr. Ong Ming and Tham Lee Chung, as well as Alan Fernandez, our guest who joined us on Biztech's SME show, focusing on helping F&B entrepreneurs. We'll be putting some checklists and slides over the weekend to help you. So please like and subscribe to our Facebook and LinkedIn pages, as well as check out our website, www.biztech.asia. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Thank you.